All right. So let's get into this. Let's get into it. So Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, and Nate Robinson got knocked out. Let me Google this real quick. Nate Nate Robinson boxing. Nate got his ass whooped. So the undercard for Mike Tyson and Roy Jones was Nate Robinson and Jake Paul. And if my memory serves me correct, Jake Paul has brief experience in boxing, more than Nate Robinson, but neither Nate Robinson nor Jake Paul are like boxers, but it's Nate Robinson. I guess people expected Nate Robinson to win because he was black, right? But Nate Robinson got his ass knocked out, right? And Nate Robinson is like the joke of the world right now. I mean, you know, it's boxing like it's supposed to happen. Like, I guess because it's Nate Robinson and he's basketball, it was an exhibition boxing match. And there might have been a whole lot of shit talking before the fight. I don't know. I wasn't keeping up with Jake Paul and Nate Robinson like that. But I do know the internet was busting off yesterday trolling Nate Robinson. So Nate Robinson will be a punchline literally for a while because he got knocked out. And so you see all type of tweets. Snoop Dogg was clowning. Snoop was one of the commentators for the fight and for the broadcast. He was clowning. So yeah, I mean, but I don't. I mean, I don't really get the jokes. I mean, it's Nate Robinson, Big K. He's not a boxer. He's not a boxer. Jake Paul. I don't know who the hell Jake Paul is. Like that, but from my understanding of what I've heard before, when I'm talking about this a while ago, Jake Paul had boxing experience. Let's see. Let's look up Jake Paul. Say Jake Paul boxing record. Let me see this. Okay, so that was Jake Paul's. So Jake Paul has had two fights. Has had two fights as a boxer. Nate Robinson has had none. Neither one of them really know how to fight, but Jake Paul know how to fight as a boxer better than Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson is a basketball player. He got knocked the fuck out. All right. But anyway, moving on to Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. I'm a killer him. I'm a murderizer. So basically, the Tyson Roy Jones fight ended up as a draw. It ended up as a draw, and I think that's the way people wanted it to be. A lot of people expected Mike Tyson to come in and knock Roy Jones' ass out. Stephen A. Smith went as far as being on ESPN talking about he fears for Roy Jones' life. Stephen A. Smith has a tendency to be extra dramatic, like extra dramatic. I think Roy Jones' life is in danger. He didn't say exactly like that. Mike Tyson could kill him. Mike Tyson could smack. When I was listening to it, Steve, and I was like, you expect old ass Mike Tyson to kill Roy Jones? Like Roy Jones don't have no skill. You expect Mike Tyson to kill Roy Jones, bro? Nah, that's not gonna happen. So basically, if you didn't see it, it's on the internet. But it was an old man fight. It was an old man fight. It was an old version of Roy Jones versus an old version of Mike Tyson that ended in a draw, and it was what 8 minute. It was 8 2-minute rounds, right? So I saw some of it. My broadcast was messing up a bit, so I saw some of it, and it looked like a straight up old man fight. So let me read some of this. Ahead of Saturday's exhibition fight between boxing legends Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., it was impossible to predict what would happen in the ring. At a combined 105 years of age and with uncertainty over the rules ahead of the event, an already unpredictable situation felt harder to figure out. But once the men got in the ring, they went as hard as could be asked for over 8 2-minute rounds, leading to a split draw on the WBC assigned judges scorecards. The fight was a little rough around the edges, with neither man committing to a true volume of strikes. Neither seemed to throw more than 2 punches at a time before ending up in the clinch to be broken up by referee Ray Caron. Right, that was slow dancing the whole night, right? Tyson occasionally landed his trademark left hook at a distance, while Jones showed flashes of his old self with no-look jabs and showboating boot. Tyson seemed to pile up most of the early rounds, landing the cleaner punches and muscling Jones in the clinch. Jones was the most visibly fatigued man in the corner. Yeah, Roy Jones was tired in the bitch between rounds, but he continued to try to gut out the fight, turn up his volume in the late rounds. This despite Tyson being far more removed from his time as a professional fighter. And then, let's just be real. They made the fight a draw because they made the draw. Tyson may have technically won the fight, landed more by because you win by landing punches. Whoever landed the most punches. Tyson may have done that, but they made it a draw. It's an exhibition fight. They made it a draw. So Jones's late work served to score him enough late round to earn the win on one scorecard and a draw on another. With Tyson winning the third scorecard, the fight was left at somewhat an unsatisfying draw. As most people pretty much wanted Mike Tyson to knock Roy Jones' ass out. Right. So while Mike Tyson said he was happy with the result, Jones was less thrilled, saying after the fight, I wear draws. I don't do draws. Well, you're doing the draw today and you're wearing them, Biff. And that's funny though. I wear draws. I don't do draws. I could just imagine Roy Jones saying, oh no, I wear draws. I don't do draws. After the fight, Tyson told interviewer Jim Gray that he planned to move forward fighting more exhibitions and even seemed interested in running it back with Jones. I'm used to doing it for 3 minutes, Tyson said up the rounds. Sometimes that 2 minutes felt like 3 minutes. I'm happy I got this under my belt to keep doing this and go further. Jones was less committed to fighting again, stating simply that it was hard to say. So they're saying Tyson didn't shut down any idea of fighting back, but it wasn't. The Nate Robinson Jake Paul fight was more entertaining because Nate Robinson got his ass knocked out. But of course, this was the better overall fight. So through 8 rounds, Tyson won round 1, 2, 4, and 5, and Roy won rounds 3, 6, 7, and 8. So it's a draw. So that's the result of the long-awaited wait for Roy Jones and Mike Tyson for their exhibition fight at the ages of 51 and 54. Fighting was probably one of the biggest boxing draws of the year. Damn, boxing. Damn. Just think about that for the state of the sport of boxing. That one of the biggest draws of the year for your sport, Corona or not, biggest draws of the year is Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. Damn. And Nate Robinson got knocked out, but it's all good. All right, man, let's talk some basketball, baby, like Curtis Blow. I know some of y'all people might be like, what are you talking about? If you've seen the movie The Wood, he's talking about basketball, baby, like Curtis Blow, because we playing basketball. Right. So, man, keep up with the times. If you don't know, keep up with the times, man. Google it. All right, so NBA free agency is happening. A lot of things have happened. People have moved around. Teams have got better. Teams have got worse. Like, what the hell is going on? Look like everybody's chasing the Lakers. That's what it looked like. Do y'all hear my stomach rumbling? My stomach growling like a motherfucker. I'm hungry than a bitch, but I got to finish it. But it seems like everybody's chasing the Lakers now. The Lakers make some great off-season. Off-season moves to improve their roster. So the Lakers actually got better as a team who just won the NBA championship. They got better. So So we got Bogdan Bogdanovich, who joined the Hawks. One Hassan Whiteside signed Kings. So let me read this. So the condensed 2020 NBA offseason is underway, and many of the top free agents are off the board, including the Charlotte-bound Gordon Hayward and returning Raptor Fred VanVleet, both of whom reached agreements on Saturday. Two more big names found new homes, where Marc Gasol signed for the Lakers and Aaron Baines joined the Raptors to replace Marc Gasol. Also, Brandon Ingram re-signed Pelicans to a max deal, deserved. While most of the stars have signed at this point, there's still plenty of players available who might be good free agents to pick up. But let's talk. This will be a list of damn. They got a list of 100 people. I ain't gonna go through 100 people, but I will stand out shit that people care about. So Anthony Davis, unrestricted free agent, staying for the Lakers. Brandon Ingram agrees to a 5-year, $158 million deal to stay with the Pelicans. VanVleet, 4 years, $85 million, stay with the Raptors. Gordon Hayward going from Boston to Charlotte, 4 years, $120 million. I wouldn't have paid that. Michael Jordan, you crazy as hell. You crazy as hell to pay Gordon Hayward $120 million over 4 years. Gordon Hayward has to prove. Gordon, I would have signed it, but not for that. Not for that. You overpaid for Gordon Hayward, bro. That's what it looked like. And what it looked like you overpaid for Gordon Hayward because Gordon Hayward really ain't been balling since his injury. So, you know. All right. So Bogdan, like I said, Bogdanovich going to the Hawks, 4 years, $72 million. Christian Wood going from the Pistons to the Rockets, 3 years, $41 million. Joe Harris staying with the Nets, 4 years, $75 million. Gallinari going from the Thunder to the Hawks on a 3-year, $61.5 million deal. The Dragon, Gordon Dragic, staying in Miami, 2-year, $37 million. Damn, I should have played basketball. Jeremy Grant is going from the Nuggets to the Pistons for 3 years, $60 million. He's going from winning to losing. Montrezl Harrell going from the Clippers to the Lakers, 2 year, $19 million. Marcus Morris is staying in LA, the Morris twins. So Marcus staying in LA for 4 years, $64 million. Serge Ibaka going from the Raptors to the Clippers, 2 year, $19 million. Marc Gasol going from the Raptors to the Lakers, 2 year, $55.3 million. That's gonna be big on the Raptors losing their front line like that with Gasol and Ibaka, because I believe Gasol and Ibaka is better than who they're gonna be replacing that with. So that might impact the Raptors' continued success in the East. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope staying with the Lakers, got a 3 year, $40 million extension. Paul Millsap staying with the Nuggets, 1 year, $10 million. Like I said, Aaron Baines going from the Suns to the Raptors, 2 year, $14 million. Tristan Thompson going from Cleveland to Boston, 2 year, $19 million deal. If Tristan Thompson got that Kardashian out of the system, he may be worth something. Jay Crowder going from the Heat to the Suns. That's gonna be pretty good too, because the Suns look like they trying to come up and do something, right? Who else that we care about? Wesley Matthews going from the Bucks to the Lakers, 1 year, $3.6 million. Rajon Rondo going from the Lakers to the Hawks for 2 years, $15 million. Who else do we care about? The boy Jeff Green going to the Nets. DJ Augustine going to the Bucks. Avery Bradley, he went from the Heat to the Lakers. Now he's going back to the Heat, 2 year, $11 million. Michael Carter Williams staying with the Magic. And, Dwight Howard left the Lakers, went to 76ers. Jeff Teague going to Boston from Atlanta. Nerlens Noel going from the Thunder to New York Knicks. That's about all who we care about. Markieff Morris, the other twin, staying in LA. So both the Morris twins are staying in LA. One is staying with the Clippers, one staying with the Lakers. Marcus Cousins going to the Raptors, like I said. So yeah, so that's some of the latest on NBA free agency moves that we actually care about. So yeah. So that's what's going on in the NBA. All right, so this past Monday, let's switch gears. Switch back to the NFL. Let's talk race relations history. Right? This past Monday, in the year 2020, after over 75 years of playing football, the NFL finally had its first all-black officiating crew. And you saw how I set that up. Because the NFL full of shit. After over 75 years of playing ball, finally had an all-black officiating crew. And I think Mike Carey was the head official, I believe. Oh, no. Jerome Boger. Jerome Boger led the crew. But shout out to Mike Carey anyway. So, an all-black officiating crew worked an NFL game for the first time in league history when the Rams and the Bucks Monday Night Football, and the Bucks lost. Referee Jerome Boger led the crew, which also included umpire Barry Anderson, down judge Julian Mapp, line judge Carl Johnson, side judge Dale Shaw, field judge Anthony Jeffries, and back judge Greg Steve. One time for all y'all gentlemen, and fuck the NFL. Because it took y'all that long to have an all-black officiating crew? Really? All them black referees you got, it really took this long? Oh yeah, that's right, because George Floyd died this shit. Who knows how America would continue to treat black people if George Floyd wouldn't have got killed? If protests wouldn't have broke out, if little white kids wouldn't have acted like they cared for a little bit, who knows where America would be, right? When the NFL announced the crew was being assembled last week, League Executive Vice President of Football Operations Troy Vincent hailed the move, a testament to the countless and immeasurable contributions of black officials to the game, their exemplary performance, and to the power of inclusion that this landmark. Man, shut your bitch ass up, Troy Vincent. Man, Troy Vincent, stop being the Negro whisperer. Troy Vincent, stop it. Stop it. The NFL ain't trying. The NFL don't give a fuck about race relations or improving anything. Stop it. Why did it take this long? If the NFL really cared about pushing the game forward or pushing race relations forward, first of all, this wouldn't even been an issue. Nobody would have cared if the NFL really cared about that. Nobody would have cared that an all-black officiating crew was put together, because that would have been normal, Troy Vincent. That would have been normal. If an all-black, if we have to sensationalize, an all-black officiating crew, that's because the status quo hasn't changed. That's because politics as usual is what's happening. The NFL is just trying. This is the NFL throwing the bone. When will it happen again? Will all black officiating crews happen on a regular basis? Because all white officiating crews happen on a regular basis. They happen on a regular basis. So will this happen on a regular basis? And in the same league, who has to incentivize the Rooney Rule, and in the same league, who says that they stand with Black America, who the commissioner says, I was wrong about Colin Kaepernick, but yet Colin Kaepernick is still not in the NFL. Right? The NFL, man. And Troy, first of all, Troy Vincent, stop acting like that, bro. Stop being the Negro who every time something race relations and all these things come up, you got the NFL put you up there to talk, and you be the Negro. Everything is fine over here, boss. The white folk treating us so good. We doing good around here. The white folk treating us mighty fine. Them some good white folks. They treat me just right. Look at me. Look at how they treated me. Them white folk treat me just right. Yeah. All right, they treat you just right, but they spit on everybody else. Because yeah, racism isn't happening. Racism is in the root of all this. Because hey, they put together an all-black officiating crew. Fine. Will it ever happen again? And why the fuck did it take this long to happen? Why did it take this long to happen? Now, I want to celebrate the referees for their accomplishments as referees. We're gonna celebrate the referees, but we ain't gonna sit and act like the NFL is actually cares about race relations and helping to improve race relations. When we saw how much the NFL played a part, because the NFL played a great part in showing us that it supports racism and people who are racist. They've been doing that the last 4 or 5 years. Been doing it the last 4 or 5 years. So, that's right. George Floyd was killed. So because George Floyd was killed, fuck everybody else who was killed, right? Fuck everybody else who was killed. Ahmaud Arbery, everybody else who was killed before George Floyd and after George Floyd, their deaths don't matter. George Floyd's death is the only death that matters. That's the one death that spurred America into the future to become better. Man, stop. Don't piss on me and tell me it's right. That's what the NFL is doing right now. The NFL is pissing on us and telling us it's right.